The NFL draft is next week, so it's time to give you guys my official 7-round Chicago Bears mock draft. What's going on, guys? I'm back with another Chicago Bears draft discussion video. I apologize, I've not been doing that many draft videos on this channel. This draft season has been pretty busy for me from a personal standpoint, from a work standpoint as well, so couldn't really make a lot of videos, unfortunately. And this draft season also has felt not as exciting as years past, if I'm being honest, because the level of prospects in this year's draft, at least in the first round compared to years prior, is just not the same, okay? You don't see the same number of blue chip players in this draft as you saw in the last draft or some drafts prior. But the Chicago Bears can still add to their roster with some fantastic talent and, really make this class a foundational class for the Chicago Bears long term, because they have 4 picks in the top 75 this year. We have our first round pick, pick number 10. We got 2 second-round picks. We have an extra one from the Carolina Panthers from the trade back in 2023, the gift that keeps on giving. And we also have a third-round pick as well for 4 picks in the top 75, in which you could get some premium talent on the trenches, maybe at running back, maybe at safety. There's a couple areas the Bears still need to add some help. But the thing is, guys, the Bears roster right now, it's a pretty good roster, at least compared to years prior. Like, we don't have a crazy amount of holes on this roster right now. Any talent that we add in the NFL draft is probably just going to be supplementing our current starters, and maybe a few guys might start, but you're probably not going to get like 5 starters immediately in the draft this year, because the Bears did so much work in free agency. We spent a whole lot of money. We did a couple trades as well, just beefing up those trenches so that we could truly select best player available in the draft this year at every single spot. So it's honestly a really good position to be in, because the Bears don't have to reach for needs really anywhere in this NFL draft. They don't have to select a running back at number 10, because there's a lot of good ones available in round 2 as well. And, we already do have DeAndre Swift and Roschon Johnson, who I'm not the biggest fans of, especially DeAndre Swift. But, regardless, we don't have to reach at number 10. If you look at the O-line, we filled in every spot with the starter. And, if you want to upgrade from Braxton Jones, you can if you want to at pick number 10 if somebody good is available. But if somebody is not available there, you don't have to reach. Same with D-line as well. The Bears basically have a starter locked in at every single spot on this team. So if you want to upgrade somewhere, you can if that player is the best player available. And one more thing I want to mention before I get into the mock draft is that I'm really, really excited to see how Ben Johnson's input and even Dennis Allen's input is going to affect Ryan Poles drafting, because having a very smart, innovative offensive mind in Ben Johnson that knows what to look for in players, that knows how he's going to utilize these players, could really help Ryan Poles select the best offensive players, maybe more than he has done in the past. Like, in the past, he struggled sometimes with some of these offensive picks, like Velus Jones was a terrible pick. Kieran Amagaji, the jury is out on him. It's too early to call him a bust because he's only been in the NFL for 1 year, but he had a pretty bad rookie season, and I just think that having Ben Johnson, a smart guy like that knows offense, is going to help Ryan Poles draft offense as well. And same with Dennis Allen too. He's a fantastic defensive mind. But without further ado, guys, let's get into the mock drafts. With the 10th pick in the 2025 NFL draft, the Chicago Bears select Ashton Jeanty, running back out of Boise State. Now, I know what people say in the comments. There is no chance Ashton Jeanty falls to pick number 10. But guys, there are many ways in which Ashton Jeanty could fall to pick number 10. And yes, it would require a little bit of luck. So this is a best case scenario for the Bears. Ashton Jeanty is my dream pick for the Chicago Bears. And yes, the Raiders could take him. Yes, the Saints could take him as well. But I think that those two teams are probably our main, rivals for Ashton Jeanty. And the Raiders could very easily select offensive line because they have a lot of needs on the offensive line in the trenches. And the Saints could select a quarterback, potentially Shadur Sanders, because Derek Carr is out for the season, most likely. So even though we'd have to be a little bit lucky, crazier things have happened before in the NFL draft. I could see Ashton Jeanty still on the board at pick number 10, in which case Ryan Poles would run up to the podium to put his pick in, because I truly believe Ashton Jeanty is also Ryan Poles' favored pick at pick number 10. That's also his dream pick, I think, based on everything that has came out, all the news reports about how his off the field, work ethic, his character, all the stuff he does off the field is just so tremendous. And Ryan Poles, he's just, so many times emphasized how the off the field has to match the on the field. And Ashton Jeanty has both phenomenal off the field and on the field production and value. Okay, Ashton Jeanty had one of the best seasons we have ever seen for any college running back ever. Last year, he very easily could have won the Heisman Trophy if not for Travis Hunter playing two different positions. But he is truly an elite special talent. He very easily could be a top 2, top 3 pick in the draft if not for positional value. But because running backs are less valued as opposed to defensive linemen, as opposed to quarterbacks, offensive linemen, I do think he could fall to pick number 10. But in reality, he is a top 3, top 4, maybe even top 2 talent in the NFL draft this year. He has a very rare blend of contact balance, the ability to break tackles, the ability to have tremendous vision, behind the line of scrimmage, in the open field as well. He can catch the ball out of the backfield. He's electric with the ball in his hands. He just makes big time plays happen every single time he is on the football field. And yes, people will say he played at Boise State, so the competition was not always the best. But guys, against Oregon, he had a tremendous game. 3 touchdowns, 192 rushing yards against NFL caliber competition. He almost willed them to victory in that game. That would have been a crazy upset. They were 18-point underdogs. And yes, in the playoffs, not the most efficient outing against Penn State, but Penn State really overwhelmed them from the very beginning of that game. And Ashton Jeanty, with the Chicago Bears, he'd be playing behind a pretty solid offensive line, especially on the interior. Okay, if you look at the additions we made with Drew Dalman, one of the best run blocking centers in all of football. You got Joe Thuney, one of the best guards in all of football. You got Jonah Jackson, too, who's been pretty good as a run blocker. And then Darnell Wright has had fantastic moments as a run blocker, too, at tackle. Braxton Jones has been up and down, but he's still more than serviceable. Like, he would be running behind a pretty solid run blocking offensive line, and he would be playing for an offensive mind in Ben Johnson that would know how to get the most out of this dude. I mean, he's kind of a mix between David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs. He's pretty small like Jahmyr Gibbs, pretty shifty and electric like Jahmyr Gibbs, but like David Montgomery, he has the contact balance, the power element to his game too, where he kind of is a mix of both those running backs, and Ben Johnson had both of those running backs on the same team when he coached the Detroit Lions. So, it'll be pretty fun to see how he uses Ashton Jeanty and DeAndre Swift and Roschon Johnson in a rotation, if this does happen. But I can guarantee you guys, Ben Johnson would get the most out of Ashton Jeanty. Ashton Jeanty could have, 1,400 plus yards from scrimmage in his rookie year, and a lot of touchdowns too, probably 10, 12 plus touchdowns. I mean, there's no limit to what his rookie year production could be, because he's ready to start and dominate right away in the NFL, which is another reason why I feel like, I'm totally okay using a top 10 pick on a running back, because guys, he would provide you with just such insane production during his rookie contract where he's not going to be earning a whole lot of money, where you can use those savings on other positions. You can use those savings to pay offensive linemen to have a good offensive line in front of Ashton Jeanty. You can use those savings on D-line, other positions too. So you would be getting, tremendous savings, on Ashton Jeanty during his rookie contract. And I think that Caleb Williams really needs a star running back to complement his abilities as a passer. Last year, we had no run game to speak of, and part of that was due to bad run blocking. Part of that was due to bad play design and play calling by our last offensive coordinator. But I think that adding a tremendous, elite talent, elite running back in Ashton Jeanty could give a huge boost to the Chicago Bears offense and truly make it like a top 5, top 10 offense in the NFL as soon as this year. So my pick at number 10, my dream pick, would be Ashton Jeanty. With the 39th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Chicago Bears select Nick Gordon, edge out of Texas A&M. The Chicago Bears still need more help at their edge rusher spot. They already have Montez Sweat. They signed Dayo Odingbo to a big contract, so they're expecting big things out of him. They got Austin Booker behind him too, and a couple other guys as well, but they still need another edge. You have to draft one early, I would say, in the top 3 rounds. And Nick Gordon is one of my favorite options for this team. He's really young, only 20 years old. He's going to be 21 for the 2025 NFL season. So has a lot of growing, a lot of developing still to do. But if you watch him on tape, he's pretty refined as a pass rusher. He definitely has a pass rush plan, like with his hands and his technique. It's already there. You can already see it there. The only thing is he's not tremendously athletic, so he's not going to be like a freak of nature type of guy that's going to be, an edge one, I would say. But as a high upside edge too. I could really see it with Nick Gordon. If you look at his stats, so he started out at Purdue. He had 2 sacks his first year, not too much production, but then 2023 was a really good year for him. He had 10 sacks, 15 tackles for loss, 50 combined tackles. And then last year at Texas A&M, when he went over there, he had a lot less production, only 5 sacks, 14 tackles for loss, 37 combined tackles. And the reason for the dip was that he was playing a different role than he played at Purdue. He had to gain some weight as well for that different role. So wasn't really the same in terms of like speed or quickness maybe as his Purdue tape. So maybe the Bears will try to, find a way to get him back to that Purdue tape, because he was definitely a better player at Purdue than he was at Texas A&M. But even at Texas A&M, he had his moments of really, really good high-level play. And he's a very smart football player, very instinctual. Even if he's not going to be the most athletic on the football field, he can definitely carve out a role in the NFL. Against a run, I thought he showed a lot of upside on tape as well. I think he truly can be an all-around pass rusher that, with his hustle, he makes a lot of plays, on the backside where he's, hustling big time and still keeping up with the play. I think that Dennis Allen is going to love that. He talked about wanting players that play with intensity, that play with pride and hustle, and Nick Gordon has all those things. I think he could be a great player for the Bears for a long time to come. With pick number 41 in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Chicago Bears select Donovan Jackson, guard, out of Ohio State. Donovan Jackson filled in admirably for Ohio State last year. He had to move to left tackle, which he played pretty decently there. He mostly was a guard before that, though, so he has some versatility in terms of playing tackle and guard. At the NFL level, I do think he's going to be a guard. If you look at his athleticism, how he can move, he definitely would be a really, really good guard in the NFL. And I think it's going to be a pick that he's probably going to be like the successor to Jonah Jackson or to Joe Thuney. I'm hoping that we extend Joe Thuney, but if we don't, maybe Donovan Jackson could succeed him, or maybe he could succeed Jonah Jackson, or if Jonah Jackson does not have a good camp this year, which is possible, right? Like, I know we traded for Jonah Jackson. We gave up a 6th-round pick, which is not that much, but very well, a rookie could beat him out in camp, because Jonah Jackson did not really have a good last year, partly due to injuries and other factors. But I'm just saying we need more competition at guard on this team. We don't really have great depth at this point in time. So even though, using a top 2-round pick on a position which you don't anticipate Donovan Jackson starting this year might seem like a waste to some people, I really don't think it's a waste at all. And injuries happen so often on the offensive line. Like, you rarely see the same starting 5 start the entire season, especially for the Chicago Bears. So I don't think it would be a waste at all to use a top 2-round pick on a very high upside guard that maybe could play tackle too if he has to, like he did in college football. He stepped in and did a pretty good job when their former starter, Josh Simmons, went down with a knee injury. So, really versatile guy, can play both guard spots, really, really athletic. If you look at his athletic testing, tested pretty well, 8.99 relative athletic score, and he started a lot of games at Ohio State. He was a 4-year starter, played, a lot of games are against really good competition too. So he is ready for the NFL, I would say, in terms of technique and the experience. He's 22 years old, so definitely on the older side for a prospect, but still not crazy old like a Velus Jones or whatever. But I think all in all, he'll be a tremendous addition to this offensive line. And when injuries inevitably happen, Donovan Jackson could step up and he could be the long-term solution at guard, at left guard or right guard for the Chicago Bears. With pick number 72 in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Chicago Bears select Kevin Winston Jr., safety, out of Penn State. Even though the Bears already have Jaquan Brisker and Kevin Byard locked in as the starters, Jaquan Brisker has gotten injured every single season, and if he has one more concussion, his career may be over, unfortunately, with how many concussions he's suffered. So a little bit worried about Jaquan Brisker at this point in time, and Kevin Byard is getting older, okay? He's into his mid-30s almost now. So I really feel like the Bears have to invest in a safety somewhere in the NFL draft, and getting Kevin Winston Jr. in the 3rd round would be a steal in my opinion. He could be a 1st-round pick if not for the injury that he suffered last year, a torn ACL, which he seems to be fully recovered from, but he missed basically all of last season due to that injury. So he really only has 2 years of starting experience, but in those 2 years, guys, Kevin Winston Jr. was a fantastic safety for Penn State. He was a team captain as well, so does have the leadership experience. And against the run, Kevin Winston Jr. is one of the best safeties in all of college football. He was fantastic against the run in the box. He could be used throughout his entire NFL career. He's a very, very surefire tackler, very, very good in terms of tackling, and always seems to be in the right place at the right time to make a play on the ball carrier. And in terms of his coverage ability, that's also really, really solid. High upside there. He has the ranginess, the athleticism to play all over the field, and didn't have too much ball production. Unfortunately, only had one interception. But again, he dealt with the injury last year, which limited his ability to make any plays last year. But I do feel like he has the abilities in coverage too. He puts his hands up at the right time. He times it really well when he's going up to contest catches down the field. And, you know, I see Kevin Winston Jr. being a safety in the NFL for a long time. To get him in round 3 would be a pretty big steal, in my opinion, for the Chicago Bears. With the 148th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Chicago Bears select Pat Bryant, receiver out of Illinois. The Chicago Bears could use another big body receiver. They do have Rome Odunze, who's good in that role, but they could use another guy behind him to be that receiver number 4, receiver number 5 on this team, because currently we have a bunch of fast, you know, smaller guys as backup receivers, but we don't really have the big body guy like Pat Bryant is. Okay, 6'3", 204 pounds, so definitely has the height, the length to be the X receiver going down the field, but it can also play in the slot as well. This dude actually blocks his ass off, which I think Ben Johnson is going to appreciate a lot, because he said no block, no rock, or something like that, right? Like, if you don't block, you're not going to be playing on this football team. You're not going to be getting much snaps. But Pat Bryant blocks his ass off when he is out there blocking. He tries really, really hard. He's a high effort, high intensity type of dude. And if you look at his production, he was fairly productive for the Fighting Illini last couple years. He's been a 3-year starter, but last year he had 984 receiving yards, 10 receiving touchdowns. Not the most athletic dude, I would say, in terms of straight line speed. He's not going to wow anybody with the speed, but he is going to wow you with his physicality, his ability to make a contested catch, his ability to use leverage against smaller defensive backs. I definitely think he could have solid production in the NFL. Even though he's not the fastest guy, he does use his hands and physicality to get open, and even if he does not seem open, he is open, because if you throw the ball to him, a 50-50 ball could be more like a 75-25 ball. He's really good at getting those contested catches and working at that catch point. Maybe a little bit similar to Rome Odunze. Obviously not nearly as good of a prospect as Rome Odunze was, but being a backup behind Odunze on this offense in case injuries happen, or in case you just, you know, want to try something different on the football field, put 2 bigger receivers on the field at the same time, or just mix it up or whatever, you know, Pat Bryant could be a tremendous asset to Ben Johnson in this Bears offense. With pick number 233 in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Chicago Bears select Karene Reed, linebacker out of Utah. The Chicago Bears could use another linebacker on this team after not re-signing Jack Sanborn, which I'm still a little bit, you know, not the happiest about, but I'm going to trust Dennis Allen's judgment, obviously, that he didn't think, you know, Sanborn could be as good in this scheme as some other linebacker could be. And yeah, you could replace him with a guy like Karene Reed. I mean, Karene Reed in the 7th round, you're not going to be expecting a whole lot, but just like, you know, Sanborn was a UDFA. So these run defending linebackers that are mostly just good against the run, not really that great in coverage, they usually go in round 6, 7, or as UDFAs, and that's basically what Karene Reed is going to be. He's not going to be this crazy sideline to sideline linebacker. It's going to be making a lot of plays in coverage. That's probably not going to be his role. He's mostly going to be used as a run defender. He is fantastic as a run defender in college football. He's a 2-time team captain, so does have that leadership experience as well. Really high motor. He gives his full 100% effort on every single play. The knocks on him are that he is a little bit undersized to be a linebacker. He's 6 foot, 231 pounds. Definitely has the strength and the bulk, but, you know, not the tallest, I would say. And not the most athletic, doesn't wow you with insane speed, but that's why he's going in round 7, guys. And I just think as a special teamer, as a backup linebacker, maybe playing that Jack Sanborn role, he could be pretty good for the Chicago Bears. And finally, with pick number 240 in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Chicago Bears select Jalen Travis, offensive tackle out of Iowa State. The Bears need more competition at swing tackle for Kiran Amegadjie. Amegadjie had a pretty bad 2024 season, although, you know, dealt with injuries early on, and he was put into a bad situation. So I'm not giving up on Amagaji yet, but the Bears don't have Larry Borum on the roster anymore, so they could stand to add more competition, add swing tackle, add some more depth, and I think this is the perfect pick you can make in round 7, a developmental offensive tackle, which you're going to have to do a lot of work with. He's definitely not refined enough to start right away, but he has insane physical tools. If you look at his relative athletic score, tested really well at the combine, really tall, really big, 6'7", 339 pounds. So, just a freak of nature, basically, right? And if you can work on him, if Dan Rouchard can coach him up, maybe eventually he could be starting sometime for the Chicago Bears. And with all the injuries that happen, you never know. Okay, maybe you could get some playing time sooner than expected. Although, hopefully he doesn't have to start right away, because he would be a stash and develop type of player for the Chicago Bears in the 7th round. But there you have it, guys. That's the entire mock draft. I'll put it up all on the screen for you guys to see the draft in its entirety. But man, if the Chicago Bears have a draft like this, I would be ecstatic. Okay, first of all, to get a game-changing franchise running back in Ashton Jeanty, one of the most electric players in the entire draft this year, would be a fantastic pick. Pick number 39 to get Nick Scarton at edge, to add to the trenches. Get somebody that can rush the passer. That'd be pretty nice. Donovan Jackson after that to beef up the trenches. He could either play guard or tackle. Add to the safety room, and Kevin Winston Jr. The Bears needed a safety to play behind Brisker, or, if Brisker gets injured, or, Kevin Byard's getting old too, so that'd be a fantastic addition. You got Pat Bryant to be a depth receiver, Kareem Reed, linebacker, and Jalen Travis, offensive tackle, to develop for the future. So all in all, guys, just added a bunch of help to the trenches here, added some skill position help, got a franchise-changing running back, in my opinion, in Ashton Jeanty, who, guys, if you're saying, oh, he's a running back, you don't want to select running backs that high, like, I fully disagree with that assessment, because with how the Bears have built the offensive line, if we get lucky enough to draft Ashton Jeanty, Bears fans are going to go crazy next season with, all the crazy plays he's going to be making, not just next season, but for the next 5+ seasons in a Chicago Bears uniform. So, yeah, let me know your thoughts down below, guys. What do you guys think about this mock draft? What would you guys change? I'll be live streaming my reaction to the draft on both days 1 and 2 on my YouTube channel. So if you guys want to tune in, say hi, hang out with me, feel free to come join us. I'm going to have other Bears fans probably on my channel as well, maybe some friends too. So it's going to be a fun time. Cannot wait for next week. I'll be having a lot of recap videos out on my channel too, discussing every single pick in detail and tell you guys what I think about each pick. But yeah, exciting time to be a Bears fan. Leave your comments down below. As always, bear down.